I'm gonna see if I can make a squirrel that I can cut out. So this is the size of my square one art paper. And I just tried doing this and failed, so this is my second attempt. Sometimes it takes 2 tries. So I'm thinking I'll make it about this big.
These are the hind legs, front legs. And maybe I'll make it holding an enormous neck or something. It's holding something there. And I'm gonna give it ear.
I'm gonna make this a profile, a side view. Something like that. And then the tail. The tails are hairy, but I'm gonna make mine not so hairy, so it's not hard to cut out.
Something like this. This is how.
This is my version of this. You might do this differently, but I wanted to just give an example of how I make something to cut out and glue onto my painted background. So now I'm gonna cut it out. If you need my help for this part, that's fine. And sometimes when I do this, I actually use an X-Acto knife, and you students are actually not allowed to use X-Acto knives, most of you students. So I could cut it out for you if that would.
If you like. So this is gonna be a little tricky to do with scissors. We'll see how I do. So I just wanted to show you how I make these things, in case you wanted to do it too. The key is really not to have lots of tiny little details that you have to cut out. So we're simplifying it. If I wanted to add fur, I can do that by drawing into it. I think I can do that. I don't have to cut the fur out probably. So this is what I have.
If I don't want to bother with having to erase all these lines, I could do the whole, cut this whole thing out. I mean, I could trace this onto another piece of paper and redo it, but I'm gonna try to just carefully, lightly, oops, okay, so I just wrecked it. I'm gonna use this as a template for you guys, in case you want a squirrel. I'm gonna trace this onto a piece of thick cardstock or manila folder. So I just traced this onto here to make a stencil for you folks. You don't have to do this. Now I'm gonna add some details to my squirrel to make it look like a squirrel. And I didn't cut out all the fur, so I'm gonna use a gray marker. I'm making a gray squirrel. And obviously I didn't cut out the fur, but I'm gonna see if I can give the illusion of fur by doing lines like this. And yeah, I think this is gonna work nicely. And I'm using my slim marker, so I can do nice thin marks. And then over here for the back of the squirrel, I'm gonna do smaller strokes. So I'm suggesting fur with small lines, thin lines, I should say. I'm suggesting fur with thin lines. So this is one way to do it. I could have gone simpler, but I'm kind of adding texture to make it look like fur. The eye, I'm gonna give it a nice big eye. So this is how I'm doing this. You might do this a different way, but I just wanted to give you an example of how I might do this. I'm using markers. You might want to use colored pencils.